I'm going to start off reading just a couple of the erasure poems from my chapbook. And what I did in these is I took sonnets from Lampman, and in each one I erased lots of text or parts of words or many words, and I reduced them down. I kept everything in the same order, and then I resulted with a poem. I'm going to read a few of those now. This is from his poem called The Frogs from 1887, and mine is called Hero. Bard on a quest, quaint, uncouth dreamer, vices and strange fists of beauty and grief, sweet, everlasting, glad ward of the earth, searching. His piece is called Midsummer Night from 1887, and I changed it to Midnight. Quite a few of these come down to like little triplets. The voices of stars scatter names on the hills, darken the moon in dusky heaven. From late November, low yield. The night plowman follows his row, turning black furrows through the white field. I am homeless, clutched with thought. And I'm just going to read one more of these. He published 3 versions of this poem: April Time, Nesting Time, When the Bobolink Comes. I changed it to Sting Me. The bees are busy, murmurous birds, our pure mead, our tiny emerald flames, our small red hats or parasols, our jocund sunshine laughing, our shimmers in the wind, tough little lacquered summer wings. I also did this thing with more Lampman sonnets. I'm not sure why exactly, but I took other sonnets and I just rearranged all the words and I rewrote them for him, still sort of in his voice. So I've used all his same words, but I've changed the order around. And in this one, I picked it because I grew up in Niagara and my grandparents had a fruit farm. The words mean something to me in that regard. His poem is called A Niagara Landscape, so I sort of see this as Lampman coming back and wondering where all the farmland went. And it's called Flowers from Either Hand. It's a bit hard to read because it's not my words. The orchards of purple hath scarcely set with a faint gray. Yon plateaued hill rests soft now, smooth, ruddy, heavy with the checkered landscape of dim, pointed rooftops and the city harvest of golden towers that stretch on, far away. And Thorold merges upon St. Catharines, and the villages and towns fill in farther westward into the distant land, the yellow host fields long gone. Clean-shaven and with glee, I come to view the one full, measureless Niagara and catch its luminous blue-green sultry depth, whose haze melts the noonday, and see where the mist and vaporous reverie still yet rise free. This poem I wrote all on my own with no help from Lampman. But I did steal a lot of things my dad says. And it's sort of about what my dad and my parents and relatives. It's called Marginalia. I'm not used to having this. It's nice. Once upon a time, you wrote in soft pencil and tiny margins around your thoughts. Now your fingers cramp around an ergonomic pen, could never return to even one arpeggio on ivory keys. Distracted, your thoughts rest abraded, the hallmark of a disease that fuels your future by consuming the myriad versions of your past. There goes the natural, unsung order of things, a royal barge that has lost its pageantry, being pulled by ghosts along dim shadow canals in darkness. I don't argue now, but it stings to hear you tease or change details unwittingly, befriending the wolf, sending pigs to meet Goldilocks and Little Red, who are suddenly my sisters. Horses run back into burning barns, still harnessed to their marriages. You pause, your story locked in images your words can no longer unhasp, the lost name of your childhood dog, the color of your father's eyes, the word for their color an indecipherable tag. like yours you resign, then decry the brute betrayals of the body, aging, an infection in your sciences, your elderly sister with diabetes going blind with immaculate degeneration. All my life I heard how much I look like you, and now, some days even you cannot tell who I am. I rise to fetch tea and biscuits. It's 50 years to reach your kitchen, and before I return, your chin has dropped to your chest in the prayer of sleep. Your wall clock insists. I recall a day you drove me to high school in the rain, and the car smelled like herbal shampoo in the downpour of our argument about the clothes I had on. I remember how eventually every poem becomes a love song to the moribund, sung by an aging chorus or played on ancient lyres with different timbres. My childhood fizzles. Anything it might mean to you drops away like the spent booster from a rocket ship after liftoff. Hazel, you declare when I return with tea, emerging from some unlocked corridor of memory. Your dad had hazel eyes, I say. Of course, you answer, looking, really looking at me. Like mine, I submit. You seem happy, probably thinking of your father. What a coincidence, you say. We are laughing now, embracing this putative order of things, forging the signatures of genes, the dominant chord playing against the haunting minor of the recessive. Sorry. Excuse me. In sequence, dulling. The hospital machinery just reminds us of time. Pardon me. In sequence, dulling. The hospital machinery just reminds us of time. Time and the clever beeping heartbeat of mortality. Always such a queer road to reach here, where sequences of process tick off, life's enormity is reduced to empirical data on the chart. How do competing impulses and sounds translate to health in a body? Which molecules speed healing? How deeply can fear or sleep factor in? Is there time to reset with a fresh set of algorithms, another fat stack of juicy neological equations? Somewhere in the corridor, a woman is muttering simply and tenderly to her God. Maybe something dead in her spirit leaks out, or maybe tiny sprigs of hope truly matter as the incense of spirit inspires, or neither, or both. All I know is that watching you here, wired up to mechanisms, isn't the deus ex machina any of us bargain for. So bless you in softness, and honor you in darkness, in sequence, dulling, and peace in you. These eyes, squinting tighter in their sockets, revere you. What they have seen is pure nothing in comparison to what has passed through them and stayed to resonate here in this body, damaged but more or less sound. I'm sorry about my voice. I was quite sick in the beginning of the year, and my voice just never came back. So, this is a found poem, sort of like what I was working with all last month. The words from it are not mine. They're taken from Joan Didion's essay called Holy Water, which is about water. So I took out words that I thought were interesting to me and that didn't mention water, and I wrote this little sonnet. It's called Here in Only the Most Temporary Way. There for the last stanza, this morning a hairline crack, explored in an amateur way, and it's ringing alarms, not quarts of milk or spools of thread. In practice, this requires some years alive with electronic sensors and sandbagging, dynamite, running free over granite. Recall being deliriously happy, trying to open a tin of anchovies with capers, to see, this year, cactus spreading wild to the sea. The sound of the rattlesnake will be duplicated 100 times. Parable, but a true one. Thank you for listening.